A couple of days after the World Heavyweight Championship between Cassius Clay and Sonny Liston, that took place on February 25, 1964, Clay publicly announced that he had joined the Nation of Islam organization, abbreviated as N.O.I, which at the time was widely viewed as a hate group against white people, and started going by the name Cassius X. The following month, he was renamed Muhammad Ali by the leader of the N.O.I, Elijah Muhammad. This evoked widespread public condemnation. Let's get back to the championship. Clay was equally disliked by reporters, and his chances were widely dismissed. Lester Bromberg's forecast in the New York World Telegram was typical, predicting, "It will last longer than the Patterson fight, almost the entire first round." The Los Angeles Times' Jim Murray observed, "The only thing at which Clay can beat Liston is reading the dictionary," adding that the face-off between the two unlikable athletes would be the most popular fight since Hitler and Stalin, 180 million Americans rooting for a double knockout. The New York Times regular boxing writer Joe Nichols declined to cover the fight, assuming that it would be a mismatch. By fight time, Clay was an 8-1 betting underdog. Of the 46 sports writers at ringside, 43 had picked Liston to win by knockout. Liston, however, brought weaknesses into the Clay fight that were not fully apparent at the time. He claimed to be 32 years old at the time of the bout, but many believe that his true age was closer to 34, perhaps even older. Liston had been suffering from bursitis in his shoulders for close to a year and had been receiving cortisone shots. In training for the Clay fight, he re-injured his left shoulder and was supposedly in pain striking the heavy bag. Between March 1961 and the Clay fight, Liston had fought 3 times and won each bout with first-round knockouts, meaning that he had fought a total of just over 6 minutes during a 35-month stretch. One of the reasons that Clay's chances were dismissed is that his boxing style seemed ill-suited to the heavyweight division. He was widely viewed as a fast but light puncher lacking the ability to take a punch or to fight inside. The signatures of Clay's style, the tendency to keep his hands low and lean away from punches, his constant movement and reluctance to set, were viewed as fundamental technical flaws that would be quickly exploited by an experienced, hard-hitting heavyweight like Liston. Following Clay's upset victory over Sonny at the beginning of the 7th round, both fighters were almost immediately embroiled in controversy that was considered detrimental to the sport of boxing. In short, at a time when Congress was investigating corruption and organized crime influence in boxing, neither fighter was seen as a poster child for the sport. A couple of days after the fight, Clay publicly announced that he had joined the N.O.I. organization. Martin Luther King said, "When Cassius Clay joined the black Muslims and started calling himself Cassius X, he became a champion of racial segregation." Ali said that he first heard of the N.O.I. when he was fighting in the Golden Gloves tournament in Chicago in 1959 and attended his first organization meeting in 1961. He continued to attend meetings, although he kept his involvement hidden from the public. In 1962, Clay met Malcolm X, who soon became his spiritual and political mentor. By the time of the first Liston fight, N.O.I. members, including Malcolm X, were visible in his entourage. This led to a story in the Miami Herald newspaper, just before the Clay-Liston fight, disclosing that Clay had joined the N.O.I., which nearly caused the bout to be canceled. The article quoted Cassius Clay Sr. as saying that his son had joined the black Muslims when he was 18. "They have been hammering at him ever since," Clay Sr. said. "He's so confused now that he doesn't even know where he's at." He said his youngest son, Rudy Clay, had also joined. "They ruined my 2 boys. Muslims tell my boys to hate white people, to hate women, to hate their mother." Clay Jr. responded by saying, "I don't care what my father said. I'm here training for a fight, and that's all I'm going to say." As the story began to spread, promoters became increasingly uneasy. Bill McDonald, the main promoter, threatened to cancel the fight unless Clay publicly disavowed the Nation of Islam. Clay refused. A compromise was reached when Malcolm X, at the time a companion of Clay's, as well as a feared and incendiary spokesperson for the N.O.I., agreed to keep a low profile save for the night of the fight, when he would rejoin Clay's entourage as spiritual advisor and view the fight from a ringside seat. Malcolm X, by that time, had been censured by the N.O.I., banned from speaking to the press, and suspended from all official N.O.I. roles and duties. Malcolm X leaving the Nation of Islam in March 1964 to form his own religious organization, Muslim Mosque Incorporated. After dealing with death threats and attempts on his life for a year, Malcolm X was assassinated on February 21, 1965. 5 days after, in a public speech at the N.O.I. Annual Savior's Day, on February 26, Elijah Muhammad, the leader of N.O.I., justified the assassination by quoting that Malcolm got just what he preached, but at the same time denied any involvement with the murder by asserting in the same speech, "We didn't want to kill Malcolm and didn't try to kill him. We know such ignorant, foolish teaching would bring him to his own end." According to Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali had converted to Islam and joined the N.O.I. several years prior to the fight, but had kept his religion and affiliation a secret up until the fight. The second theory is, Clay was initially refused entry to the Nation of Islam due to his boxing career. However, after he won the championship, organization was more receptive and agreed to publicize his membership. Shortly afterwards, on March 6, 1964, Elijah Muhammad gave a radio address that Clay would be renamed Muhammad, one who is worthy of praise, Ali, Most High. Around that time, Ali moved to the south side of Chicago and lived in a series of houses, always near the Nation of Islam's Mosque Maryam, or Elijah Muhammad's residence. Only a few journalists, most notably Howard Cosell, accepted the new name at that time. Ali stated that his earlier name was a slave name and a white man's name, and added that, "I didn't choose it and I don't want it. I am Muhammad Ali, a free name." The person he was formerly named after was a white slave owner turned abolitionist. Ali concluded, "Why should I keep my white slave master's name visible and my black ancestors unknown and unhonored?" Not afraid to antagonize the white establishment, Ali stated, "I am America. I am the part you won't recognize. But get used to me. Black, confident, and cocky. My name, not yours. My religion, not yours. My goals, my own. Get used to me." After Elijah Muhammad's death, in 1975, his son Wallace D. Muhammad assumed leadership of the organization, following which, the fundamental doctrines of the N.O.I. underwent a change to bring them closer to Sunni Islam. Sunni Islam is the largest denomination of Islam, followed by 87 to 90% of the world's Muslims, and simultaneously the largest religious denomination in the world. The word Sunni refers to those who observe the Sunnah, referring to the traditions and practices of Prophet Muhammad. Ali decided to follow the teachings of Wallace Muhammad. In an interview for his 1991 biography, Ali commented, "Wallace learnt from his studies that his father wasn't teaching true Islam, and Wallace taught us the true meaning of the Quran. He showed that color don't matter. He taught that we're responsible for our own lives, and it's no good to blame our problems on other people." Leave a comment below if you admire the greatest. Don't forget to press the like button and subscribe to Professional Boxing History channel. Also, there are a friend of mine who's sharing life tactics and strategies if you are looking for opening the full potential of yours. Check it by yourself. Ali would have followed definitely.